right, friends. Well, welcome to another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. I'm Rob Hipp, and we are live here today, way up top in Huntsville, over at the First National Bank building with Mr. Elliott Herzlich of Elliott's Jewelers. Man, we've been talking about this for a long time, and here we are, Elliott. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited. You and me kind of hit it off pretty quick. We're Rotarians. We're going to talk about that today.
Absolutely.
And then we're also going to be talking to our good friends with CASA of Walker County, San Jacinto, and surrounding areas just about this. It's a very serious issue of child abuse, and we're going to be talking about that today and some events that are coming up. We're going to have those guests coming on around the 8:30 hour. But, Elliott, man, it's so much fun to be here with you today. We met at Rotary.
That's right. You were talking about your IT and being involved in the radio station, come from a radio station background, and my wife's radio station background, so this is great stuff.
It's always neat how everything kind of comes full circle.
That's right.
And I know that we're going to be talking today. You really wanted to focus on Rotary. You've got a heart for nonprofits. That's why I'm so excited to be working with you on this show. And But we got to let folks know a little bit about who you are. So maybe a little 30 or 60-second elevator speech. And then the next episode, we're going to dig more into your history and your jewelry store. But tell us a little bit about you, Elliott.
Well, I'm a third-generation jeweler. My father was a diamond cutter. His father was a diamond cutter. And I got into the jewelry business almost 44 years now. We're located in Huntsville in the First National Bank building. We work by appointment only. We're custom design. We deal with estate pieces and do restorations for antique and vintage jewelry, and also a buyer of quality jewelry.
Awesome. And I will say this. I got to plug you real quick because I'm wearing it right here. So hold on. Let me get this on. And you know how to make rings fit, too, so I appreciate that.
The ladies asked me to do that.
Yeah. So it works. Well, I got this from Elliott, about 4 or 5 months ago, I guess. A little wedding band, and I got Bridget another band. Absolutely one of the most beautiful pieces that I've seen, and you were able to get this nice little hammered gold and then the 14 karat around it, and then put a little stud in there for me. So I appreciate that.
That's right.
And no trade on this, by the way. I had to pay for it, so which I gladly did. If I would have traded, I would have been in trouble because I'm not the general manager. I don't own the radio station, so I didn't trade with you on that.
That's right.
Well, hey, today,
looks good on you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and Bridget joining us this morning, and of All right, I promise we're back. We just wanted to see if you were awake this morning. So I always blame it on the internet worm came through and knocked us off. But we are back up here. I should have went with your internet to begin with. I was hopping on the hotspot, and so we apologize for that. But we are back here again with Elliott Herzlich. And Elliott, just so excited to be here today.
Absolutely.
I know you were talking a little bit about your history and just kind of what you did. And in our next episode, we're really going to dig into that a lot more.
Thank you.
But Elliott, today I know you really wanted to focus a lot on Rotary and just the mission of Rotary. I've been a Rotarian for a long time. So have you.
Right.
There's so much you hear about events all the time in the community from nonprofits, but maybe you don't know the message of what those nonprofits do. So we're going to start this morning just by talking a little more about Rotary, kind of the mission of Rotary and those kind of things, Elliott. So I'll let you get started on some of that.
Well, Rotary used to be thought of a bunch of old guys sitting around just having a party, but Rotary of today is people in your community actively involved in the community with raising money for the nonprofits, helping out in the community when they need a helping hand. And I've been a Rotarian for about 10 years, and it's changed my life being a part of it. It's a give back group of people, professional people. The Huntsville Rotary Club meets on Wednesday at the Walker Museum
there, yes, sir.
Museum in the downstairs in the convention room.
Yeah, you got to come down there and be a part of that. You know, we meet every Wednesday at noon. Great food, and the most important thing that I really enjoy, of course, the community service is what it's all about. But then the fellowship, that is so much fun. Just meeting people, saying hello to each other. It's just a kind of a wake up on a Wednesday that you need during the middle of the week.
That's right, and you make new friends, but you also get to be a part of something. The old rules that you have to be there every week. I know it's hard for professional people that are working. We need you as often you can be there and to be involved in the events. So whatever you can contribute, that would be great. So you can join us at Wednesday. I would come at 11:45 so you have a chance to meet and greet and have lunch. And if you mention Rob or you mention me, you can come as our guests.
And lunch on us. We'll
right.
take care of you.
We'll take care of you, right.
Well, friends, you may be watching today. You may be a business owner. You may be a business professional. You may just be an employee for a business. But everything that you do is so important for any organization. And that's something that I want to be very clear about. Rotary isn't just for business owners. We have folks that are insurance agents, folks that are bankers. And one of the neatest things when I was at the Georgetown Club, where I was fortunate to join, I guess I was about 20 years old, a guy by the name of David Wolf, who's been a mentor and just kind of like an uncle to me. I don't want to say father because that's my dad, but he's right below father, so that'd be your uncle. But David got me into Rotary when I was 20 years old, and I'm 37 now, so you add up the math, and it's just been 17 years of so much good fellowship. And I got to tell you, it's great to be around people who are focused on service. And maybe you're waking up today and you say, I've wanted to get involved. I've wanted to figure out ways to get involved in my community. I always recommend you be part of your local chamber of commerce, but then get involved in a service organization. There's other great organizations out there. Kiwanis does a good job, and down the road we'll talk to those in Lions Club. But today, because we're Rotarians, we know all about it. We can talk about it.
Right.
And so it's an organization that you can be a part of, commitment to service. You get to hear a program each week. We had a good one yesterday learning about Red, White, and Bike. I didn't even know that organization existed.
No, I didn't either.
And so that's what's so important about being involved. So today, if you're out there and you say, I'd like to get involved, come as a guest. Come check it out. We meet every Wednesday. I believe it's down at the Gibbs Conference Center there at the Sam Houston Museum. And you can join us 12 noon. Reach out to Elliott and we'll be happy to do that.
And you can go to the Facebook page, Rotary Club of Huntsville. You can find it on Facebook, learn more about it that way. I have a funny story about when I first got into Rotary. We were putting bicycles together for Christmas, and the person who invited me said, "Bring your tools." I said, well, my tools are, and he said, just bring your tools. Well, I went, my tools fit into a washcloth. So we ended up by changing them for a bigger wrench and screwdriver to fix pipes. So
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, because you think about you're a jeweler. You don't walk in here with a big wrench around your bed. I walked in with all this equipment this morning, Elliott, and you said, man, you've got a whole setup going. And I'm sitting there thinking, when you told me that, I was thinking, you've got just a small set of tools, but they're so valuable in what you do. So it's pretty neat stuff. Well, kind of going back, and one thing that I really enjoy about Rotary, just besides the opportunity to serve the community, we do many events. Like at the Georgetown Club, we have Rotary Ramp Build, and so they do that at least once a month. They'll go out, they'll help someone who needs to have a ramp at their residence for the wheelchair. So it's those kind of projects. And then we just had an amazing event here. You were a big part of giving some ideas with the wine pool and those kind of things with our Rotary Wine Quest, which we're proud to say raised about $40,000.
A little more.
A little bit more than that. Talk a little bit about that event, Elliott. It was a lot of fun.
Wine Quest is an annual event. This was the 4th annual. We had a tremendous turnout out at
that was down at the Magnolia Lake.
Magnolia Lake, yes. And we had a great time. We had a lot of fabulous prizes. We also had quite a few sponsors that we wanted to talk about, and they donated prize and money. This money is basically the money that we raise from this is going to use to help the HISD School District, Good Shepherd Mission, Safety Town, Santa's Helper Toy Distribution, the POPS Committee, A Time to Read, and several other organizations here in town. And one of the things that in this community, the people who run these charities need help raising money because they spend 98% of their time raising funds, and the rest of the time they're delivering the services. If we can help them by raising money, they can spend more time presenting the services to the community. There are other partners, CASA, which we're going to have later today. They're going to they can help, and they'll talk about what CASA does. There's also the Junior Service League, which have done things like they raised money, I think over $100,000, for the special needs park that was built for special needs students. Mm-hmm. So there are lots and lots of services out there. It's important for us to give back to the community, and it's important for us as business owners and people in general, but at businesses, if you're going to take from the community, you have to give back.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the most critical things, and I'm so glad that you brought up, Elliott, what those funds go for, because so many times, and we're not knocking any organization or anybody, because we're even guilty of it sometimes, and being involved in an organization saying, hey, we raised $40,000. Well, what did you raise the money for? And it's so important to talk about where those funds go and who receives that. And we talked about our kids benefiting and Time to Read and all those. We talked to B.J. McMichael yesterday morning, who was my guest host, and we talked about A Time to Read. And so that is where, when you're involved in a local community, those things come right back, right here in the backyard of Huntsville, Texas, and throughout Walker County. Again, going back to Red, White, and Bike yesterday, I didn't know that organization existed, but because of Rotary and the community service aspect, he came in, he delivered the program, and now I know about that organization. And it tugged at my heart, saying, you know what? I want to help this guy. I want to see this succeed because he's providing bicycles to children of veterans. I think that's something that's amazing, Elliott.
And we another event that happened. We had the speaker of the East Texas Food Bank. She was there talking to us and telling us about the food bank and what they provide. That's right here in Huntsville, and they give 60 to 90 pounds of food a week to people in need, every 2 weeks to people in need. And the question came up as, do the people know how to cook this food? And with the answer was no, there's issues with that. Aramark is the food service company for Sam Houston State, and the executive, the vice president is a friend of mine. I mentioned it to him. He was able to get a grant from Aramark to help paint the new food bank to make it fresh and new. And the chef there will be teaching classes to the people on how to prepare the food that they receive. So there is no waste.
That's
and
awesome.
And this is a product of the Rotary Club just making connections in the community. Many, many problems that are talked about and solutions come up behind the scenes for just saying, I know somebody that can help.
Yeah, and I think that's great. That's what it's all about, Elliott. You know, when we're there and we're at the meetings, you know, a perfect example, we had a bunch of wine left over at the event. And so Karen came by, and boy, you just got to give your heart out to her. She did such great work helping to get this event going, and she has been a tremendous, talking about Karen Hewitt, she has been such a tremendous asset to this community. But it's just that service attitude. And she came in and she goes, hey, can one of you guys help me bring these boxes of wine in yesterday? And I mean, immediately, because you have that service above self, which is the Rotary motto,
Absolutely.
that mindset, you immediately, there's 5 or 6 guys that just got up right away that heard her and were like, all right, let's go. And I mean, we moved the boxes in 10 minutes. We were done, you know? And that's what's so critical, is just that motto. And I want folks to hear that, because listen, even if you're not a Rotarian, it's something that you can all live by. That's why I love the Rotary 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it be beneficial and build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Those are all the things that we can apply to life every single day.
Yes.
You don't have to be a Rotarian, but it sure is nice to be one.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of opportunity. And you might say, well, I don't have the time. The thing is, if you want to contribute, you want to be a part, just show up once and see what the opportunity is for you. It's got to fit for you and your lifestyle, your family, your work. But I tell you, it's a great opportunity, and it's a great way to serve. Everything that we do for our efforts locally stay local. They don't go anywhere else.
Absolutely. With saying that, though, our local efforts, but there is some global initiatives of Rotary. You think about polio going back years ago. Maybe you didn't know this morning. There are still 2 countries on the face of this earth that face polio. The rest of polio has been eradicated thanks to the good work of Rotary. Even Bill and Melinda Gates, they got behind that, donated a lot of money. Of course, the former CEO and founder of Microsoft, they poured a lot of money into Rotary to help eradicate polio, because it's a simple drop you put on your tongue, and that is the vaccine. And that's what I'm talking about this morning, is we do help things right here locally big time. That is the number one focus. But there are needs that do stretch beyond, and if you want to get involved, that's an opportunity. And one thing that I really enjoy, Elliott, and I got to tell you this quick story, because you were telling a story earlier about your tools. I've got to tell a good Rotary story. The neat thing about Rotary is whenever you travel, there is almost a club in every city in America, and quite literally every city in the world now. It continues to grow and expand. And the fun thing about it is they want you to be at the meetings, but they understand that you can't make every single meeting,
Yes.
but they encourage you to make up the meetings. And one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling is I like to go visit other clubs. And one of them, I was up in Brookings, South Dakota, and it was nice and chilly, of course.
Yeah.
And you see the wind turbines everywhere, all over the place. I remember walking in, met some of the friendliest people. You're always going to meet friendly people at Rotary. If you're not friendly, you know, you're not living the Rotary creed. But we walk in, so many friendly people. They talked about this wind turbine project. It really opened up my eyes. But then I thought I was at a church service. They busted out this book called The Songs of Rotary and started singing. Don't worry, not every club does that,
That's
but you
right.
never know what you're going to run into.
That's right. Yeah, there are lots of singing clubs, and they have their favorite songs.
It's pretty neat, you know. And then second, a while back, this was before I was blessed to come here to Huntsville, Elliott, went over to a broadcasting conference in Del Mar, just south of San Diego, there in California. Everything I heard about California, untrue. Wonderful folks, beautiful weather. It was not bad at all. Loved it down there in that San Diego area. And we were at Del Mar. Beautiful beach. You know, the beach is right there, the ocean. We go into this Rotary meeting was held at an old historical church that was on piers on the ocean, and you look out and you see the water.
Wow.
And it's so nice that all the windows were open and all the air was blowing. It's just beautiful. And that's what makes it fun. And then you know when you're walking in that these organizations are giving back to the community.
Yes. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was the fact that for WineQuest, I designed 2 pendants, one with diamonds, one with rubies. You can find them on the website. You can find them on the Rotary Club website as well. And these pendants were auctioned off, and they're unique, one of a kind. Well, I made replicas of each, and we're offering those for $20, at least a $20 donation. And so if you would like to purchase one of those or get a picture of one of those, you can text me at 936-661-5363 and put your information in there. I'll send you a picture back. Again, these are replicas of the original. This is with red stones and cubic zirconia, and it's a tipped glass of wine dripping out of a wine glass. And we'll add a picture to it later on. Anyways, for a donation of $20 or more, you'll receive one of these necklaces.
Do you have one of those here with you, Elliott?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so maybe what we'll do here in a little bit, because we do need to run and take a quick break. We're approaching that 8:30 hour. Just shortly after 8:30, we're going to bring in some of our friends from CASA here today. For now, though, we're going to step aside. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're actually going to show you that pendant. So Get your telephones ready. Get ready to start texting. Get ready to start calling. Don't call. We won't be able to answer the phone right now, but you've got to see this piece, and we're going to talk a little bit more briefly about that. So stay with us. We'll be back here in just a few moments. Thanks for joining us this morning on Good Morning Huntsville. All right, friends, welcome back here as we're approaching 8:30. We do have our friends from CASA that will be joining us here before too long. But as promised, I'm going to see how this looks here, Elliott, because I'm going to go on the front webcam here. Here we go. This is perfect. So this is what Elliott was talking about a little bit ago. And if you can kind of see this, a beautiful piece. Elliott, kind of describe this one for us here.
Well, here, let's do it.
You're the jeweler, so you know which way to do it there.
Let's do it like this.
Yeah, here we go. There you go.
Yep. There we go.
Come this way, a little bit to the right, Elliott. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Okay.
Ooh, there we go.
So, yeah, describe that a little bit for us.
This is a keep on drifting.
Yeah, that's all right. Here, I can hold it for you.
There you go.
So tell us a little bit about this piece again and kind of what it embodies and what it's for.
Well, it's, again, this is all the money will be used to add to what we raised at WineQuest. This is a commemorative pendant with, it's in gold overlay, cubic zirconia. This one is to depict white wine dripping from the glass.
And then you've got another
Oh,
piece here that's very beautiful.
This one's also white. This is the same piece.
Oh, you got oh, that's okay.
We have one with red stones in it to symbolize redstone. It's done in the same manner, and it's on an 18-inch gold-filled chain. And again, for a donation of at least $20, you can get this necklace.
Yeah, and I think it's and again, that money that you're paying for these, only $20. That's the donation
Minimum.
minimum. But you pay that, and check this out. You donate that, and then that money goes right back into the Rotary Club.
Absolutely. But what we need your money. That's true. We need your support, and we need you to be a part of Rotary and to contribute to our community. And if it's not with Rotary, there's lots of other organizations that need volunteer. So go ahead and pick something. There's lots of them out there. You can find them on Facebook. They need your help. They need your money. They need your help. They need your involvement. They need your hands. They need your mind. So be involved, please.
And I talk a lot about everyone has a talent. Maybe you're waking up today and you're saying, I don't know what I really can offer. If you think long enough, every single person has a unique talent, and those talents can all be utilized, whether you're good at talking to people, whether you're good at, some of you may be good. Look, even if you think you can dig with a shovel, there's organizations that need help planning things and doing things around the community. So don't ever underestimate what you can do. That's
Absolutely.
What's so important.
We need you.
We'll step aside. We're going to take another brief break, and when we come back, we have our friends in CASA. We call it the Green Room here on Good Morning Huntsville. So they're in the green room. We're going to let them in here in just a little bit. Stay with us. We've got more. We'll talk more about what's happening in our community. And also, you don't want to miss what we're going to be talking about with our good friends from CASA. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville. We'll be back here in just a few moments.
I'm Hipp, and here's today's inspiration. Jeremiah 29:11 in the New Living Translation reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." You may have woken up today wondering if there's light at the end of the tunnel. You've been working the same job for years, expecting promotion, but nothing seems to be coming your way. You once felt talented and well capable, but now you're just going with the flow, trying to get by. Is it worth it, you wonder? Friends, don't believe the lies of the enemy. Believe what God says about you. Wake up with an attitude of expectancy every day. Your day will come. It may be today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, but what God has put in your heart will come to pass. He has plans for good, just as the scripture reads. God has a future for you and wants to fill you with hope. Will you receive that today? For previous messages and to share today's inspiration with a friend, visit today'sinspiration.org.
All right, friends, back at it here on Good Morning Huntsville. Time now 8:34 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. It's been such a wonderful morning already here on a Thursday morning. You know, we started doing it. We always had these shows on Wednesdays, and now we're starting to add in Thursdays thanks to Elliott and others. And maybe you're out there today saying, hey, I'd like to be part of this show. Reach out to me. You can text me, 512-522-9105. Again, that number's 512-522-9105. We're looking for show sponsors such as Elliott to be a co-host. And then, of course, we bring on nonprofits and talk about all the good that's happening in our community. So, again, 512-522-9105, or maybe you know a nonprofit that'd like to be a part of this show as a guest. text me and let us know about that. Well, friends, without any further delay, we are joined here in just a few moments. We have Miss Rachel Drake in the green room. We're going to bring her on here in a minute. She is of CASA of Walker County, San Jacinto, and Trinity counties, the program director. And then I believe we're also joined this morning. Let me go back and just take a look here by, I believe it is Miss Marcella Herrera. She is with Texas DFPS, and I am going to go ahead now and bring both of you ladies on. Man, we've got a full house here today, and so in the middle is Miss Rachel Drake, and on the right is Marcella. Good morning, Rachel. How you doing today, ladies?
Good morning. How are you?
So wonderful. Well, we're so glad that you're joining us, and we're going to talk a little bit about CASA today, and then also Marcella is joining us as well from Texas DFPS. I guess, Rachel, we'll dig in with you. And, yeah, good morning, Marcella. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. I know y'all been waiting patiently back there. We call it the green room. We just don't have any gifts for you or any coffee or those things, so we apologize for that.
That's okay. We have our own.
Awesome. Well, we'll start with Rachel first. Rachel with CASA, I've had a great opportunity to just get to know you. Not you particularly, Rachel, but of course Kimberly, and just knowing the great work. And Emily's been a part of what y'all do for so long. There may be somebody this morning that says, I've heard of CASA. I don't know what it is. First, give us a little bit about your background. Just kind of tell us a little bit about your history, how you got to this area, how you got involved, and then tell us a little bit more about CASA this morning.
Sure. So I came to college at SHSU and then fell in love with Huntsville. And I always knew that I wanted to work with children. And so CASA really just fit perfectly with all the things that I wanted to do professionally. And it was here in Huntsville where I love the community. And so that's kind of how I landed here. I've been here about 4 years. And then for those who don't know, if you're just tuning in and not sure what CASA is, we are a nonprofit and we train advocates who are volunteers, and they advocate for children in foster care. And so they go visit the kids, they talk to CPS, they talk to the attorneys, they go to court, and they advocate for their best interests while they're in the foster care system.
Awesome. Well, as I said earlier and again this morning, we are just so honored to have Rachel here alongside Marcella and just talking more about the great work that you guys are doing. I always say this with the utmost respect, because it's organizations that we wish didn't have to exist. But the truth is, there are kiddos out there that need help. And this organization, CASA, it's something that's near and dear to me, coming from the Austin and Georgetown area. Years ago, I had a great friend named Marissa Austin, who was working with that CASA there. And it just really opened my eyes to the needs of the organization. And you talked about CASA earlier. It stands for the Court-Appointed Special Advocates. It's a national nonprofit program that recruits, trains, supervises, and supports community volunteers. And the most important component of what you guys do is advocate for abused and neglected children in the child welfare system. It's something that tugs at your heart, as I said earlier, Rachel, because it's something that you wish didn't have to exist, but it does. And you guys just go the extra mile to help these kiddos. Talk a little bit more just about kind of the process. And I know you can't get into details of stuff, of course, but just the process and how things work. If there's a child out there that needs help, how does that process start? I know that you have volunteers, and you can kind of go over those as well.
So it starts when a child is removed and placed in foster care. We are an automatic appointment program. So between our 3 counties, anytime a child is removed and placed in foster care, we are automatically there right from day one. And then as a staff, we train and supervise and appoint an advocate volunteer and get them set up. And so then they'll start visiting the kids every month. They'll talk to CPS and the caregivers and the parents and just work with people like Marcella and their CPS caseworkers to try and help those families and help get them the services that they need and help make sure that the children's needs are met to try and help build them back up.
One thing, too, that's so important, and I definitely wanted to bring this up, Rachel, because safety, and especially child safety and security, is so very important. CASA does such a good job with not only what you guys do as employees, but then volunteers. And you go through a pretty thorough vetting process, too, for those volunteers to make sure that these folks are safe and they're safe around kids. Can you talk a little bit more about how that volunteer process works?
So they do have to go to a couple week-long, 3 nights a week, hour training to learn all the ins and outs of, the system and what it takes to be a CASA, what all you're signing up for. And then there's CPS background checks, criminal history background checks, those kind of things.
Yeah, and I think that's That's so critical, and we wanted to make sure that we let folks know that, because if you have someone that is in the CASA system, that they know that they're being protected by people who care, who have their best interests at heart, and they're going to be safe. And I think that is so tremendously important. Well, Rachel, we'll come back to you in a second, so we'll put you back in the green room again. No coffee back there yet. We'll figure out a way one of these days to get it, virtually back there to you. But we'll come back to you in just a little bit. I want to bring on now Miss Marcella Herrera. Marcella, good morning to you. Thank you again for joining us today.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Marcella, and correct me if I'm wrong, you are with the Texas DFPS. Is that correct?
Yes, the Department of Family and Protective Services, and I'm currently a Child Protective Services Program Director.
Tell us just a little bit more, just kind of about you and how you got involved, and really kind of your connection to CASA and how the process through you works, Marcella.
Absolutely. So I'm actually from San Antonio, Texas. I started out in what we call Region 8, and I transferred here in 2011. So I've been with the agency a little over 12 years, and I currently manage 65 employees. We are dedicated to ensuring the safety, permanency, and well-being of children once they have been removed from their families and are in the foster care system, whether that be with family, fictive kin, close family friends, or in foster care in a foster home. We partner with CASA immediately upon removal. So a CASA is immediately assigned, and we partner with them from day one to ensure the child's needs are being met, ensure their best interest is at heart all of the time.
Hey, I know that sometimes, privacy and different things, there may be somebody that knows that, hey, I think that there's something going on with this child. Hey, how does that kind of process work? Can somebody anonymously call in and report things, or kind of guide us through kind of that process?
Yes, definitely. So child abuse prevention, it can't be done alone. So all Texans really need to work together to strengthen and grow community supports that keep children and families safe together when possible. So to report abuse or neglect, if you have any kind of suspicion, even if you're not 100% sure, it's really important to let the Department of Family and Protective Services investigate those suspicions, investigate those concerns by reporting any suspected child abuse or neglect by calling the Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-252-5400. We've also made it to where you can make a report online at the Texas Abuse Hotline, and that can be found on our DFPS website at www.dfps.state.tx.us.
Awesome. And I'm putting those out there just for folks that are on the social media free streams right now, Marcella, so that they're able to see those websites and, again, that phone number. So if there's anything that you suspect may be going on, you have got to speak up. We talk so much on this show about community, Elliott, and how important it is to have we've got to have people involved.
People have to be involved. People have to be able to make a difference, see something that needs to be done. You don't know what your observation, your voice speaking, your actions have. It's a ripple effect and makes a big difference in your surroundings, the world, and in our community. And we want to benefit in our community.
And Marcella, I talk so much about just the power of our words, and when you talk about reporting things, and some people may say, hey, I'm really nervous about doing that, but I'm telling you, your words can be life-changing. There's a kid out there today that needs you to say, hey, I know that something's going on. I've got to call. I've got to report this. And so I want to encourage you. Your voice and your words make a difference, and there's a child that may be hurting. You can be that person, not for you, of course, but you can be that person that could quite literally save that child's life.
Absolutely. See something, say something. And just to add on really quickly, you can also remain anonymous whenever you make those reports. So if that is a worry of yours, please let the statewide intake know that you'd like to remain anonymous.
Well, I'll bring Rachel back. Oh, sorry, Rachel. I brought you right on there in front of center stage. We'll bring Rachel back on again, Program Director for CASA of Walker, San Jacinto, and surrounding counties. There is an event coming up, and I wanted to and we'll see kind of how this flows, but this month, and one reason that I absolutely wanted to bring y'all on, this is known as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and this month recognizes the importance of families and communities working together to strengthen families to prevent child abuse. I'll take this question over to Rachel. I know that there's an event that's coming up, I believe tomorrow, a proclamation that's going to take place at the Walker County Courthouse. Tell us a little bit more about what is happening tomorrow.
Yes. So for Child Abuse Prevention Month, every year we try and do something, a proclamation. This year will be at the courthouse. We will also decorate the courthouse lawn, put a couple signs out, and plant some pinwheels, just to try and raise awareness so that all the people driving through in the community can kind of see and kind of take notice. We're always trying to educate the community and raise awareness, but especially during April.
And I wanted to ask you as well. Of course, this event open to the public. I believe is there going to be something taking place at 1:30? If I'm right on that time.
Yes, it's tomorrow at 1:30 at the courthouse. It's open to the public. We would love to see any and everybody there. We would love to see you show up in blue, especially because that's the main color.
Absolutely. So, normally Huntsville is orange, and we also throw on that Huntsville green, but tomorrow we are going to wear Huntsville blue.
Absolutely.
And in support of this very worthy cause. Rachel, I'll come back to you in just a moment because I do want to give you another opportunity just to talk one final time about CASA. I'm going to send it back over to Marcella really quick. Marcella, just talk a little bit more about National Child Abuse Awareness Month and really what all that entails and how you help bring awareness. I know we've been talking with CASA, but there's other ways as well.
Yes, sir. So while the critical work of child welfare is done year-round, April is Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, really dedicated to recognizing efforts made across Texas to protect children, keep families safely together, and further educate the community on these prevention efforts. Child abuse prevention occurs every day. Through the diligent work and tireless advocacy undertaken by all of our Texas families, friends, neighbors, faith communities, advocacy groups, and nonprofit organizations such as CASA, to include government agencies such as myself as well. And sure.
Oh, go ahead, Marcella. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Department of Family and Protective Services is really focusing on our prevention efforts to build strong prevention systems. So not to only support the children as they come into care, but also prior to the crisis occurring, because we really believe that children thrive in safe, stable, nurturing families within their own communities and our own homes.
Well, Marcel, something else that I was thinking about as you were speaking here, and I think this is something that is very critical as well, is there's major metropolitan areas, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, and we know a lot of things happen in every community. Where is the voice for the small rural communities? You guys provide services there as well. How does that work, and kind of how can the small communities that maybe, we're even talking, you got places out in West Texas that only have a handful of folks, and we know in those places, unfortunately, that these events happen of child abuse and other things. How do those smaller communities still engage with you guys, and what resources do you have for the small communities?
Sure, absolutely. And the region that I am a part of, we actually serve 12 surrounding counties of Harris County. So we do work with a lot of those rural areas that you're referencing. And we do have child protection staff that are dedicated to serving those areas. You can also find some really great resources on our DFPS website. There's great parenting resources, safe sleep practices, and community resources in any particular area. Under the Prevention and Intervention tab of our DFPS website, you can also go to www.getparentingtips.com, and you can find articles from helping your children handle anxiety to parenting a child with special needs.
Good.
And particularly in that search under prevention and early intervention, you can actually locate services by county.
Well, awesome. And see, that's one reason that I'm so passionate, Marcella, about bringing this show and having this show is because, like, for instance, I didn't know about the getparentingtips.com, and I just, my fiance and I, we've got a 4.5-month-old baby now, and I want to do everything that I can to be a good dad and also keep her safe and protect her. And so I had no idea that website existed, so I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Absolutely, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's I always joke around. I say It would have been a little bit easier in my mid-20s. I'm 37, but I'm so blessed and so thankful to have her. And, hopefully down the road we're going to have a few more little kiddos. And like I said, we want to keep her safe and keep our future kids safe. And I think the work that you do, I'm just going to say this, and I know that you don't do your job to be put on a pedestal, but there is so much, Marcella, that you and your staff do that goes unnoticed. And I just want to thank you from a community leader standpoint. We appreciate you and your organization and what you do through the state so much. You don't get enough credit for what you do. Thank you for all your hard work and helping to keep these kiddos safe.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. My team and I definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, do you have any just final remarks, any final closing things that you'd like for us to mention or that you'd like to mention?
I'd just like to say, in recognition of Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, please wear blue on Friday, April 8th. Go Blue Day. So please show that you are advocating and supporting that prevention effort.
Absolutely. Well, Marcella, again, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for being on this morning. And you can kind of hang out in the green room if you'd like. I'm going to bring Rachel back on. Thank you again, Marcella. I appreciate you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
She brought up such a good point about resources, and I think a lot of parents, Elliott, are really nervous. I'm a new parent. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be a little vulnerable here and say I am a little bit nervous because as a new dad, I'm putting my hand. I see the corner of this glass desk. I mean, if my kiddo one day is walking, I'm probably putting my hand right here. I don't want her to run into it, But in all seriousness, you've got to have a place for resources. I think that's so important.
It is important. Many things. There's nothing that teaches us how to raise children. And so we just have to do the best we can and watch out for corner of glass tables.
That's right. Well, let's bring Miss Rachel Drake back on. Rachel, again, appreciate you joining us as well this morning and just the fine work that you do. I know that I told Marcella, and we praise them for how much they do, but at CASA, y'all are doing such incredible work.
They are amazing.
You go the extra mile, and it's just unbelievable what you have to do. Today there may be a person watching, and I kind of lead these with statements because I think sometimes you've got to trigger people to they're thinking it, but they're not hearing it until you say it. Then they hear it now. And when I say there may be somebody watching today that wants to volunteer, can you tell us how that process works? I know you mentioned the screening and all that, but how do people get involved? How do they find you and the organization?
So you can call our office, and Janet is our training coordinator, and so she would love to talk to anyone, as would I, but also she's the main one who will train you and go through that. But our phone number is 936-291-2272. And so that from there, we'll set you up with what we call a CASA 101, which is a no strings attached we could do it Zoom or in person. And there you just kind of learn all the ins and outs of what a CASA does, the time commitment, what you're signing up for. This isn't your average volunteer opportunity. It is very involved. We're in these kids' lives pretty presently. So it is time consuming, but I don't want that to scare people away. I want to say over half of our advocates work full time. So you don't have to be retired or not have a job like this. There's a way for you, if you want to be involved and to be an advocate.
Again, we're talking to Rachel Drake, Program Director of CASA of Walker County, San Jacinto. And look, it's not just Walker County. I wanted to be very clear about that because it's Walker County, it's San Jacinto. You guys are covering more than just this area. Also, Trinity County, don't want to leave out our friends in Trinity. Can you explain a little bit more just about that reach that you'll have, not only right here in the heart of Huntsville, but throughout those couple of other surrounding counties that I mentioned?
Yes. So we're an automatic appointment county for all three counties. So like I said earlier, anytime a child is removed in any of the three counties, we're assigning an advocate. We're hoping that our children always stay local in our communities, but unfortunately there aren't always enough foster homes for every child that comes in. So our advocates are a lot of times going to court in all those counties, but they're also traveling around all over Texas, making sure that they go see those kids wherever they are. They follow them through the life of the case, and they're with them, whether they're in Houston or in Groveton or in Trinity or San Antonio. They're just so committed to our community and to our kids. And sometimes when they're not able to be in our community, they're going to follow them and make sure that they still are taken care of and valued.
And then finally, I know we've talked a lot about the volunteer thing, Rachel, but there's other ways that people can get involved. Every organization's got to have finances, of course, to operate. Tell us a little bit more about the other opportunities outside of volunteerism that people can help out and get involved with CASA.
So we have lots of opportunities. We have the board of CASA, I think, has some openings. So if you're interested in being a part of CASA and don't want to be an advocate or can't for whatever reason, you could try and get on our board and join our board. We have committees that are open to the public for different events, for fundraisers, for different community building, things like that. So you can be a part of CASA. When we have events, like we have Christmas in July bingo, that's one of our big events and big fundraisers coming up. We need volunteers to help us run that event. So if there's lots of ways, I could go on and on, but
yeah, you've seen the doll houses around Christmas time that they have. The dollhouse, no, they're not doll houses. They're playhouses.
yes,
Go ahead.
Sorry. They're
Go
custom,
ahead.
They're custom built playhouses for kids. And so we partner with builders and people in the community to build those. And then we raffle them off every Christmas.
I know when I first came to Huntsville, one of the first chamber events that I went to was the Christmas in July a couple of years ago, and I really thoroughly enjoyed that event and just really getting to learn more. I knew a little bit about CASA through Marissa Austin and north of the Austin area, but being here, learning about the organization, such tremendous work, being that voice and being that advocate for kids who need it, such incredible work, Rachel. We appreciate you.
As you see, there's lots of opportunities to volunteer. There's lots of opportunities for you to give back to your community. We're proud of this community. Be part.
Rachel, before we let you go, just any final comments from you? I so much appreciate you being on and just sharing your story and what you guys are doing.
I just want to take a second to say thank you for having me, and thank you to the Huntsville community for always supporting CASA and supporting our advocates and the work that we do. We wouldn't be able to exist. We wouldn't be able to help these kids if it weren't for y'all, for supporting our fundraisers, for providing donations whenever they're needed, for helping us get the word out on places like this or letting us come and speak to groups. So thank y'all for everything y'all do and everyone who's listening in the community.
Awesome. Rachel, finally, I got to ask you a question only because I've got a friend that may be asking me, do you guys have a Santa Claus that comes to Christmas in July?
I think we've had one before, but I don't know if we've got Santa ready and signed up yet this year.
All right. Well, if not, I don't want to take anything away from any Santa here in Huntsville, but I've got the perfect guy that I met on an airplane broadcasting a Bearcat game. Met him, ends up, the guy's just down the road right outside of Conroe, and he said, Rob, if you ever need Santa to Christmas in July, let me know, and I'll be there. So I may connect you with Santa George if you guys are looking for somebody.
We will love that. I will definitely let our bingo committee know.
All righty. Well, Rachel, God bless you. Thank you again for all that you do, and tell everyone back there at CASA, thank you all so much. I think we're actually in the same building today, possibly. So, but we still did it remotely up here, and so again, thank y'all so much. We appreciate you, and just thank you, and continue to keep up the good work. We're going to support you the whole way.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, that was Rachel Drake, and also Marcella Herrera joining us this morning. Such important messaging, and that's why we do this. I had no idea about the website that talks about just how to parent. I mean, let's be honest. Our parents raise us, but we still need some parenting tips. And now I know about getparentingtips.com thanks to Marcella.
And I'm just they work hard, and they get very little recognition, and this is one of the ways we can applaud them and encourage them to continue the services that they provide. You can be a part of that too, so please help.
Awesome. And you can, again, go to their website. I threw it up there on the screen a little bit ago, CASA of Walker County. .org. We're going to step aside. You have a few more minutes, Elliott? I know you got to get hopping here in a minute, and I've got to get back to the station. But we're going to take about a quick break, and then we're going to come back. We've got to make sure that we go over what's the National Day of. Okay, that's a new segment that we do. I won't do the segment with you that I do with Dr. Presley. It's called Things That Annoy You That Shouldn't Annoy You. We won't do that one. but we will talk about things that happened that this day is known for.
Okay.
So we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Stay with us, friends. We're having a lot of fun. Let us know you're out there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back here in about a minute or so, and then we'll be on for another 2 or 3 minutes. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville, brought to you by our good friend Elliott Herzlich of Elliott's Jewelers. Stay with us. All right, back at it for the final segment. Time now 9 a.m. If you were supposed to be at work at 8 a.m., Elliott,
you're late.
You're late or you're fired. I used to joke around with my guys. I would always tell them at my computer business because we would early on we were 10 to 7. And I had guys that would come in late at 10 a.m. The best excuse I ever got, I love the kid, but the best excuse I ever got, he said he had roommates. He goes, the laundry was backed up because his roommates. I said, it's 10 a.m., man. So I started joking around with guys, and I would tell them, I would say, if you're 5 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're 5 minutes late, you're fired. Of course.
Well, I could understand the laundry being backed up. He had to smell all the stuff in order to see if he could wear it out of the house.
I guess. Well, we're going to go over real quick. Today is April the 7th, and there's several things. We're not going to read every single one of them, but there's already a couple that are popping out to me that I'm excited about. The first one, it is National Burrito Day. Are you a fan of burritos? I'm a big fan. I love Chipotle. Now, I shouldn't have said their name. They don't sponsor. Sorry. I'm just kidding. But I really like, it's not Chipotle. Bridget does not like this place, and I love it. It's Freebirds. Have you ever heard of them?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Man, that thing, you got everything you can imagine putting it on a burrito. That's making me hungry. Like, I want to go to Conroe and get one of them.
Get one.
But I want to keep the money local here in Huntsville.
Absolutely.
Today is also National Alcohol Screening Day. And a little bit, some of these things are very serious. Every year, the National Alcohol Screening Day, this is a day that raises awareness about the harmful effects of alcohol abuse and alcohol dependency. All of us know somebody that's been affected by alcoholism. It's a very tragic, and it's a disease, and it's very tragic how it affects some families. But each year on the Thursday of the first full week of April, these screens offer anonymous and confidential opportunities for those with the addiction to seek help. I talk so much about my good friend Joshua Harris of the Oak Ridge Disciple House. This is right up his alley in what he does, helping to free men of those type of addictions. Friends, we want to remind you, addiction, it not only affects the person. If you're struggling from an addiction, it doesn't just affect you. It affects your job, your family, and your community. Screening is a large part of those outreach programs. These programs bring an opportunity for education, referrals, and treatment to those with alcohol dependency issues. And so that is a very important recognition today of National Alcohol Screening Day. But then it's kind of strange because then you flip over and it's National Beer Day. So,
I don't think you need an excuse.
Yeah, it's National. And yesterday was National Beer Day's Eve. And so that transitions to National Beer Day. There's also the National Girl Me Too Day. And then this one, if you work around the house, I'm gonna get a lot of men in trouble right now. A lot of men that are married or you're living, you got your lady and she's taking care of you. And I love Bridget, man. She keeps the house clean. She's an excellent mama. But I'm telling you, I'm gonna get a lot of men in trouble today because today is National No Housework Day. So if your wife or your significant other, do not allow her to clean the house today. It's not allowed. It is National No Housework Day.
But it's your chance to clean the house.
It's your chance to clean the house. So, Bridget, if you're watching, I'm putting myself right now, I'm putting it out there. I will clean the house today when I get home for you.
Okay, good.
And also, it's National Coffee Cake Day. I like coffee cake.
I like coffee cake, too. I like it nice and crumbly. The thing is that, people have been complaining that their eyes hurt when they drink coffee, and the answer to that is take out the spoon.
Yeah. That's the way it works. Well, Elliott, been a lot of fun this morning.
Thank you.
I hope that we've had a privilege just to it is a privilege, and I hope that we've been able to lift some folks up today that are struggling. You heard about these events coming up. I will be down there tomorrow at 1:30. Tomorrow's actually my birthday, and
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm going on 21, so it's
and congratulations on your
thank you.
New ring.
Yeah, thank you. This was a nice gesture, man. I got to tell you, the university is so incredible, and I was very thankful that they blessed Brian and I with a championship ring last night. So that was I appreciate them, and I always talk about it. Always starts with Bobby Williams and what he does. He's tremendous, and of course our president, you know her very well.
Yes,
we appreciate all that she does as well, Dr. White. And so it's just, again, I can't talk and be happy enough about how great our community is.
Yes, and there's a lot to be done, and we can do it if we do it every day and if we do it together. And as you see, there's lots of opportunity with CASA, and just turn around and you'll find something to be a part of. And it's rewarding. Not only are you giving to others, but you're also giving to yourself. It's meaningful as a business owner. If you're taking from the community and making your living, you have to give back. So,
absolutely.
And we're going to do more of these.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to continue to bring awareness. And Elliott, he doesn't like to put himself up there too much, but I will say this. I got to know Elliott, got to meet him. We became friends immediately.
Yes.
And the first thing that I recognized about Elliott is his servant's heart. He wants to be involved, but he also wants, more importantly, he told me this too, to highlight the nonprofits in our community that are doing work, and not just talk about the events, but explain what the events are and how they benefit the community. So we need more Elliotts around here, so we appreciate you, my friend, and all that you do.
Thank you.
Once again, we'll see you tomorrow, 1:30. I'll be out there at the courthouse. Please come down and join us. It's National Child Abuse Prevention Month. CASA will be down there bringing awareness. That is tomorrow, Friday, 1:30 p.m. You'll see things going on. I'm not sure exactly what side of the courthouse, but come down there. You'll find us. Please come and be a part of that and show your support and wear blue. Elliott, we've talked about a lot this morning. Do you have any final closing remarks? You had a good one, so we should have left it at that, but I just put you back up there, man.
Well, just be kind to other people, be patient, be kind, be safe, and have fun.
I like it. Have fun. That's the Rotary 5th here in Huntsville.
Yes.
Friends, I want to remind you today, a big thank you again to Elliott Herzlich here of Elliott's Jewelers, making this episode today possible. I want to remind you today that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other, friends. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody right here in our community. They need you, and wherever you may be, they need you as well. Good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We'll see you next Wednesday. Make sure to tune in right back here for your show. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend ahead as well.